West Texas, with his own hand, brought down angels from the promised land.
Building a business is tough, but I hear building a business in California is next to impossible. This is Texas Governor Rick Perry, and I have a message for California businesses. Come check out Texas. There are plenty of reasons Texas has been named the best state for doing business for 8 years running. Visit TexasWideOpenForBusiness.com and see why our low taxes, sensible regulations, and fair legal system are just the thing to get your business moving to Texas.
You're listening to the Laura Ingraham Show on a Friday here in South Florida, another great place to do business. Low-tax state. A lot of people leaving California for, parts east, and for Texas, parts west. And Governor Perry did an ad buy about 6 markets in California, and he is driving all the right people crazy because he says, we're friendly to business here, and we want your business. And it turns out that 254 businesses across a variety of industries moved all or some of their jobs out of state last year, many moving to states such as Texas. California Manufacturing Technology Association found in a recent study that 82% of companies surveyed did not consider California when expanding or opening a new facility. So, like a smart man that he is, Governor Perry decides, look, there's an opening and I'm going to take it. And Governor Rick Perry, great state of Texas, joins us now. Hey, Gov, how are you?
Laura, it's a mighty pretty day in Texas, so we're enjoying the weather and enjoying the climate and the business climate as well.
Governor, this is what Jerry Brown said in response, the governor of California, said in response to your mean and hard-hearted attempt to poach his businesses.
It's not a serious story, guys. You take a little radio ad and all you guys run like lapdogs to report it. It's nowhere. It's not a burp. It's barely a fart. Thank you.
Lovely. It's not a burp. It's barely a blank. What's your response, Governor?
Well, listen, this is about competition between states, and if we didn't matter, we would be ignored. The fact is, Texas, Florida, Louisiana, they do matter, and people are moving to those states. We have a great competition. It's easy to disregard this and kind of poo-poo it, to blow it off, to go find 2 or 3 little factoids that you want to go beat up on a particular state. But, Laura, at the end of the day, when you really look at what's happening, the jobs that have been created in the state of Texas over the course of the last 5 years, or even the last year for that matter, it's hard to argue that people are voting with their feet. They're moving to those states that have low taxes, a fair and responsible regulatory climate, a legal system that doesn't allow for oversuing. Just in the last 5 years, we've had huge numbers of private sector jobs created in Texas, some almost 350,000 private sector jobs in the last 5 years, while California has lost almost 650,000 private sector jobs in that same period of time. Since 1990, California's unemployment rate has been above the national average for 23 years. So there's something going on here, and I will suggest to you, people know what it is. It's overtaxation, overregulation. And listen, this isn't about bashing California. It's a beautiful state. I mean, when you look at within 30 miles of that coast from Northern California all the way down to San Diego, absolutely beautiful. I tell people that's Exhibit A of how government could foul something up so bad that you would leave that beauty to come live somewhere else. But that's exactly what's happened.
Well, I was mentioned earlier, I was having lunch with a very famous tennis player who's lived in California for, I think, 3 decades. And he's moving his family to Florida. He's done, yeah. and he loves it. It's beautiful, but he's done. And he said, I'm demonized as a business creator, and I'm not doing it anymore.
Yep. And Rick Scott has done a fabulous job in Florida of helping create a business climate. I mean, Rick and I talk often that we compete against each other. This isn't just about Texas versus California. It's Texas versus Louisiana.
Yeah, you're against Jindal and Scott. No, you all are fighting it out, and that's what's great about it. I love it. Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom heard you were in town and you were trying to get businesses from California, and this is what he said, Governor Perry. He said, "I'm sick and tired of Governor Perry coming to California all the time. California has cleaned Texas's clock in terms of job creation." How do you respond to that?
Well, the lieutenant governor actually led a delegation to Texas last year, and in 2012 he came to Austin, and the question was asked, "How are you creating the jobs that you are in the state of Texas?" He was a very reasonable and a pleasant fellow when he was in Texas, and I understand smack talk. We do it all the time on the athletic field, and then at the end of the competition, you look up at the scoreboard and you see how you're doing. And the scoreboard is overwhelmingly in Texas' favor from the standpoint of job creation. I mean, and I get it. I understand what they're doing, but you cannot argue with the facts. And the facts are that Texas is creating jobs, and they're creating jobs in all categories. This isn't, some people say, "Oh, you're just creating low wage jobs." We're creating jobs in every category, entry-level jobs.
Healthcare. Healthcare is incredible.
And every one of those areas, we're doing it. Listen, most places we get it. You're not going to be the CEO straight out of college or your technical institution, but if you want to be a CEO, the place you need to be is in Texas.
Governor Perry, when you look at the demographics of Texas and the rest of the country, the Democrats feel like they have the wind at their backs, and their goal, and this was a stated goal of the DNC, is to take the last crown jewel in the Electoral College of the Republicans away, and they're talking about Texas. What does Texas have to do to keep from becoming another blue state?
Well, and that is an admirable goal for the Democrat Party to come and compete in the state of Texas. And listen, we're not afraid of competition, as we prove on a regular basis. And one of the, as a state that is a very dynamic and growing Hispanic state, making sure that those young Hispanics that are in middle school, going on into high school and then to college, have a great respect for the economic principles that have made this state great, and so that they're able to keep more of what they work for when they get out of college, when they go into the workforce. We want them to understand that it's Republican principles of lower taxes and fair and responsible regulatory climate that's predictable, a legal system that doesn't allow for oversuing. Those are Republican principles. And as those young Hispanics become adults and decide which political party they're going to be affiliated with, they're going to look, I think, at the economics, at the values that they were raised with, of faith and family, and they're going to be Republicans. So I think it's going to be very difficult for the current Democrat Party and the value system.
Well, it's worked in California, though, right, Governor? I mean, there are a lot of Hispanics in California and in Northern Virginia and in other states, and those are all Democrat states. They're voting Democrat.
But I'll suggest to you that Texas is doing it differently than those states. I think you're seeing our state reach out to the Hispanic population. As a matter of fact, in my State of the State address, we talked about creating the University of Texas system and making it eligible for permanent university funds for a college in South Texas. That's the type of actions. It's not just lip service here. It's truly actions. And appointing young, dynamic, up-and-coming Hispanics to high levels. They get elected to office in the state of Texas. George P. Bush is going to be running for a statewide office here very soon, according to his.
Man, you got the mayor of San Antonio too, who's a big liberal, right? I mean, he's a nice guy, but he's a big liberal.
Well, and that's where I think you'll see the Hispanic population making the decision about, are we going to be part of the Democrat structure that believes in taking away from one group and giving to another, and it's going to be a good test.
Hey, Governor.
I'm just comfortable we're going to do it right in Texas.
We're talking to Governor Rick Perry. Governor Perry, I'm sure you've followed some of the internal conversation, to put it nicely, among Republicans about what to do next, moving forward, given what happened in this last election. Obviously, you ran for president. You ran that rough-and-tumble primary process. And Karl Rove started American Crossroads, raised hundreds of millions of dollars, spent about $130 million, had a 1% return on investment for the people who gave money, namely every place they took out ads, the candidates lost. Except for very few. And now they've started a new group called Conservative Victory Project, and many in the Tea Party and many other traditional conservatives believe that this is just one more attempt to point the finger at the Tea Party and traditional conservatives for the losses of moderate Republicans. What is your reaction to the reforming of the Karl Rove consultancy class?
Well, I think Americans are smart enough to figure out where they want to invest their money, and 1% return on your investment is what turns you on, then that will speak for itself. But when you decide who's going to have the best message, I think over the course of the next 18 to 24 months, you will see various Sunday groups standing up and various candidates standing up and talking about their vision for America. I think that's going to be substantially more carrying the day than.
But is the Tea Party to blame for these losses in this last election? I mean, it seems like we keep moderating moderates.
Yeah, I would suggest to you that people who try to moderate their views to win a particular vote are going to be weaker and weaker as time goes. I think people want to see people they believe, people they trust, and people that are going to be consistent in their position. So moderation from the standpoint of in pursuit of an electoral victory is a failure, in my opinion. We want, and I think most Americans want, someone that will stand up and say, look, here's what I believe in. Whether they're standing up for the values of the Boy Scouts of America that for 100 years has been there, it's easy to be popular. Being consistent is what Americans are really looking for. And I think whether it's the President of the United States or whether it's the governor of a state, consistency of philosophy will be carrying the day as we go forward.
Well, and on the issue of chasing the hyphenated voters, I think there are a lot of people who've made millions and millions of dollars selling this message that conservatism needs to accommodate to demographics, and chasing the hyphenated voter means becoming more socially liberal on a variety of issues, and frankly stopping Tea Party candidates in the primary process.
Yeah. Well, I disagree with that. I believe that fiscal conservatism is going to be one of the most powerful messages that we have, but also standing up for the traditional values that this country was based on, and articulating them in a way, in a loving way from the standpoint of some of these social issues, but in a way that is not compromising in the values.
Well, it is great to talk to you, Governor Rick Perry, the great state of Texas. I love California as well. I'm a member of the California Bar, but you all adopted me in Texas as an honorary citizen. So I got to say, if I'm starting up a business, it's going to be Florida or Texas, and you guys are just going to have to bid for my business. So I'm going to have to who gives me the best tax breaks.
That's a pretty good place to start from.
Governor Perry, thanks so much, and I'm glad you've annoyed all the right people in California.
God bless you, Laura. Take care.
All right. We'll take a break on the Laura Ingraham Show. I don't think we're going to see a lot of moderation on the part of Governor Perry, and yet somehow his state keeps winning. Don't go away.
I'll see you in Houston if I ever get out that way. I'll see you in Dallas.
The Laura Ingraham Show.
But I won't have long to stay if you're ever out west, son. And you're feeling like slowing down, I'll see